Hi, guys. We are here with Melanie, who is the founder of LuxeFactor Aesthetics, the luxury med spa in Summerlin. And you can follow them on Instagram at LuxeFactorLV, built around a low and slow natural results philosophy. Okay, what is a low and slow natural results philosophy?
Well, when you come in, you don't really want to just come in and start plumping your face with fillers and start burning your skin off with lasers. Like we have to kind of build up to that. First of all, for change for your friends and family, but also so that we're not just hitting your skin hard and damaging it and that stuff. So when you want to start, we want to start with good skincare. We want to start with the laser, start fixing the skin so that we're not just blowing it up with fillers and Botox. And then if we have a couple things that are remaining, then we kind of do little tweaks of Botox and fillers. But, if you just go really fast, then your friends and family are like, whoa, what happened to you?
Yeah.
We don't want those kind of results. We want they're like, oh, you just look soft and refreshed.
I like that. So on the natural side.
That's right. Everything's
Oh, I
natural. That's what we
love
want.
it. And so let's talk about you, who you are, what you like. Obviously, we know you're the founder.
I am.
Anything else that,
I started in dermatology when I was 15 years old. 15, I found a dermatologist that would help fuel my love for skin care, for aesthetics, for um, just overall skin health. And then I found my other dermatologist that allowed me to start becoming an injector. I've worked for him for 20 years. So these patients have been with me for 20 years. They've watched me grow. They've watched my family grow. It's been really amazing. And once I've decided that I wanted to have my own business, I went through and I got my nurse practitioner degree. And that's where my vision of LuxeFactor Aesthetics, where it came into play. I've opened my business now. It's been 1 year since we've been open. And
okay, wow.
but my clientele, my patients, my knowledge, that's all been going on for, over 20 years. It's been a long time in this field. So now here I am. LuxeFactor is here and it's thriving. We're going.
It's going good.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
wow.
yes.
I bet you they were like, oh man, you should open your own stuff one day.
Yeah, the doctor that I had worked for, he passed away 3 years ago. So I had to figure out what my next step was. And it was carrying on my journey of skincare. It was carrying on the patients that I've built relationships with,
Yeah.
ensuring that I'm keeping this skincare journey going and, helping the community. So,
That is amazing. And Vegas has a reputation for overdone faces, as we know. It's like people are starting to look the same.
Mhm.
How do you handle a client who walks in asking for way too much? And you kind of want to say, girl, no.
Well, I do say that.
Oh,
Yes,
you do?
exactly. Yes, I
Okay,
don't. So
cool.
you're my walking brand. I don't want
Yeah.
you to go out there and look like you have those big duck lips. I don't want you to because somebody's going to look at you and they're going to be like, "Oh, who did your work?" I'm not going there.
That's
So,
that's
you're
what.
literally my walking brand. So I do turn them away. Either I re-educate them of what natural looks like and teach them and show them what they should look like because I really just want to enhance what you look like. I don't want to change what you look like. And you hear a lot of people who go to plastics and they're like, they have that plastic surgery look. They all look the same. And that's not what we're going to have at my office. It's very much so educating the patients of, why do you not look like yourself from 10 years ago? Because you have a shadow, you have a crease, you have a hollow, you have something else that is changing. Fat pads are moving. So that's my job to know what's moving, what's changing, and be able to figure it out. It's like a puzzle. Every patient is a new puzzle for me that I have to sit there and change and figure out to ensure that I can just enhance your natural beauty. So there's no cookie cutter. Nobody's going to walk out with the same treatment. We customize every treatment. We start from the basis. The basis is going to be skincare. And then it's going to be lasers. And then it's going to be Botox and fillers. And then it's going to be biostimulators. And then, now we have to go into the wellness. Now we have NAD shots. We have all the things in our office that we can, reverse some aging. We can pause aging. We can, it depends on either how far you want to take it, what your pocketbook has for, like it
Yeah.
all depends. But again, it's all tailored custom for you, not for cookie cutter of everybody else.
Very cool. I remember I'm following an account on Instagram. It's like an app, and then you take a photo, and then it tells you how you would look.
Yeah, yeah. So we've looked into that stuff.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how you can, with those kind of apps, you can show yourself in 40 years or 20 years, or
So
if
cool.
I did this filler.
How
I'm really good at putting an image for the patients as they're sitting in front
You
of me.
take
You
the
are
photo.
constantly with a mirror in front of me or in front of you while we're doing our treatment. So I always tell people, I'm not the one who goes home to your face. You are. So I don't want to sit here and tell you how your face has to look. You have to tell me what you're looking for. I can give you advice of how to bring back aging, but you're the conductor of this train and you're the one that's going to be responsible for it. I can help deliver it, but you have to be the one in control of it.
Yes. So you
Mhm.
basically just tell them, how do you feel right
Yep,
now with
and low and
this?
slow. Again, back to it. Let's do one syringe, a half and a half, and then come back in 2 weeks, and then do a little bit more, and come back and slowly change so that we can love the transition as we go. But if we do too much, you're going to hate it and never come back. So it's like it's just a low and slow. Let it settle. Let's see what we're like. And with fillers and that, you're kind of seeing a little bit of swelling in between, so you can see what a little bit more is going to look like. Either you love it or you don't, and then we choose where to go from there.
Mm. Well, yeah, so there are so many skeptics on like a lot of people are saying, well, I don't know, the Botox is, neurotoxin is really bad for you. What would you say to them? Like, is it really that bad? And then in Italy, they don't allow anything from here down. Like you can't get Botox from here down.
I did not
Like,
hear that.
why is Botox only $190? I mean, actually, 190 euros in Italy versus almost $1,000 here.
Well, America versus other countries.
Like wild.
Yes, price-wise, I don't know the difference. I mean, I think kind of America just definitely with the FDA and that kind of stuff, they have to pay for so many different licensing and
Mm.
approvals and that stuff. That's probably prices so different. And then they can mark up because they can, and they kind of prey on the people who want to, fix themselves a little bit more. But
Right.
really, when you're chart in Nevada or in the United States, what you're being charged for is expertise, my knowledge, my experience, my results that I'm going to be doing. We have a couple people right now that are trying to get in the aesthetic field and they were trying to get hired at these places. And they're like, just go get your certification for one day and then you
One
can go ahead and
day.
start. And that's terrifying. That's terrifying. And as a patient, if you don't ask, you don't know. So you're going to go to somebody that's going to end up, just injecting your face and you're their second patient that they've ever injected and you have no idea. So that's why, I'm not on the lower end of the pricing and that's okay. And my patients are willing to pay for that because they know that
Yeah,
they're going to get the results that
the
they
safe
want,
hands to.
and they trust anything I say. I can say anything to them and they're going to know that I'm never going to sell them something that they're not going to want. They're going to get the results. So it's
Mm.
worth it.
Okay.
I don't think being afraid of a toxin is there. This isn't something. Botox is one of the most researched drugs that are out there. It's been approved since the early 1990s for aesthetic reason. I'm sorry, it was 2006 for aesthetics. Prior to that, they were doing it for medical use. It has so many indications and so much studies and white papers that it's not something that we have to fear. It is going to stay localized in the muscle you're injecting it into.
Okay.
So it's not systemic. You're not going to go
It'll
ahead
go into
and,
your blood.
yeah, I mean, when it was found in old cans that were like being sucked in because botulinum was in there. But that's not where it is now. It's such minute doses and it's, so precise of where you're injected that, I mean, that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people who've had it and those complications are so rare.
No. And is it true that the more you stretch your skin, the more you're gonna need to continue doing those particular
Well,
treat-
so we have elastin in our skin. Elastin is going to be that recoil so we can
Yeah.
stretch. And I always try to explain that like babies can make a kissy face all day long. As we get older, that elastin starts to slow. So if you have these wrinkles that are above your lip from drinking out of a straw, smoking cigarettes, kissing, whistling, doing all the things, that's because your elastin is starting to diminish. That's where using skincare products are going to be really big and doing the lasers are going to be big because we can start to injure the tissue to repair that collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid. So stretching the skin isn't the problem. It's going to be, and the amount of stretch you would have to do to not be able to recoil back is not going to be something you have to be fearful. If you saw those ladies that have like literally sausages of lips, those are going to be the ones that will never recoil back. But your skin, you're not going to put that much filler or that much Botox in somebody's skin where you're going to stretch it to a degree that it won't return to its normal shape.
Okay. Unless you do like some double what are those?
Like a facelift.
Like a facelift.
Yeah, but that's because you're taking skin away.
Oh.
So we're cutting this much skin off, the skin's going to be gone. So it won't fall back down. Aging happens though. and that's
Mm,
gonna you're still gonna continue to diminish some of that elastin and collagen, so your skin is gonna get lax and start to fall down still, even after a facelift.
mm. What is the youngest person that came for Botox?
18. I actually started when I was 18. Mhm. The doctor that I worked for originally, he didn't do Botox and fillers, but like I said, I started for him when I was 15 years old. And when I would be talking to patients, I was just scowling at them, just listening. It wasn't anything else, but I was just had this deep furrow that was already there, and it was so deep at that age. And he looked at me, he goes, if you don't start Botox now, you're gonna hate yourself. And I was like, "What?
Really?
What are you talking about?" I had no idea about Botox back then. And so he ordered Botox, he put it inside, and it just stopped the movement. It just softened it. So then I moved on to my other dermatologist that I started work to. And so then I've done Botox ever since I've been 18 years old, and I have not one wrinkle on my face. So I've prevented it. So that's kind of the shift of where Botox and fillers
Interesting.
were at. It was wait for a wrinkle and wait for things to come. And the younger generation just has so much more knowledge. Make sure you're using your vitamin C's at the earliest age possible. My son, he's 12 years old, and I already have him on vitamin C and sunscreen, because if I can preserve your skin at that age, you don't ever age to that wrinkly spot for us to have to correct. And then, so why I started all these products and lasers and Botox and all that stuff is because I'd watch people come in and spend $2,500, $4,500 on a laser treatment or this. And I'm like, if I can just prevent this with vitamin C and retinol and sunscreen, why would I not? And
Right.
that was just a ding. And for my own self, but because I found that love so early, I was able to portray serious, like, to my patients and make them understand how important it is. And so right now in 1 year, now that we've been open for SkinCeuticals, our product line, which is the highest vitamin C that's sold in the world, the vitamin C, or C plus E,
Ooh,
we're number 4 in all of the accounts of, I think it's Utah, Nevada, and Texas. We're number 4 in all of them. So yeah, it's definitely pushing the skincare of understanding why. And my patients, like I said, have been with me for about 20 years. So they know, they don't question it. They know why.
they
And
either.
you can see the change in their skin compared to most of the population that's out there because they've been able to preserve it with skincare lasers, Botox fillers, that kind of stuff.
Wow. Is it so retinol? Is that something? Because I know a lot of people told me don't use retinol in the summer because you're gonna go in the sun, and if you because I don't do SPF. I can't. I think I'm allergic to SPF because every time I put it, I break out. So I don't use SPF.
You hurt my heart.
I know. It's really difficult. So I can't use retinol because then
Mhm.
that, and then vitamin C, I don't like it because I like to look tan. So what the heck am I doing? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Well, vitamin C shouldn't make you not look tan. Vitamin
Okay,
C, actually, there is almost like an orange hue to it. It doesn't generally show on your skin, but it also does not bleach your skin. So there shouldn't be any reason that you shouldn't be able to use that. Retinol, yes, you do want to make sure you're wearing sunscreen and
and that
limiting
makes you
the
look
use.
white, right? Retinol.
Retinol, so the retinol, the very bottom layer of skin, the only thing in the world that that will accept is a retinol. So I can sell you every product out there on the market, and that's going to help these top layers up here.
Mhm.
The only thing that retinol will ever touch is that bottom layer. So if we can get that cell turnover, pushing up those impurities, the wrinkles, thickening that dermis, doing all that stuff, that's why retinol is so great because we're able to push from that bottom layer. So where vitamin C, what it's doing is when you're around smoke, wind, dirt, all the toxins, pollutions that we're around every single day, that steals one of your electrons out of your cells, and then your cells reproduce all those unhealthy cells over and over and over again. So vitamin C comes in and has unlimited electrons, so that the pollution and all that stuff can't take that electron, and it's going to repair it right away. So it's going to be what's preserving it. So if you cut like an apple in half and you put vitamin C on one side and not vitamin C on the other, this one will start to oxidize and turn brown and turn yucky. And this one you can keep alive for a week and be perfectly fine by just topical antioxidants. So it's really amazing what it really does to preserve your skin. So that's important to do, even if you're not wearing sunscreen.
And it won't make my skin white. I mean, lighter.
No, no,
Won't
no.
take my
So, like, the
tan
things
away.
that are going to be like lighter are going to be like bleaching creams or
No,
lightening
I don't want
creams,
those.
anything like that. But no, it shouldn't. Like, I mean, the vitamin C plus C, I don't know other lines. I know SkinCeuticals. I've never seen it lighten anybody's
I have to
skin.
get your very nice, and that's made by you.
Oh, no, no, no,
Good.
SkinCeuticals.
Okay, skin
No,
okay.
no.
You're representative of
Yep.
them. Okay.
Yep. So I just sell their product. I don't get anything back from them. The reason I like them so much is they back their stuff up by science. So it's not like, oh, it has vitamin C in it. Oh, it has retinol in it.
Mm.
They have the papers and they do biopsies and they show exactly what it's doing to your skin. So I have proof as to what it's doing, but also the ingredients and is it stabilized? Is it in the right formulas? Is it
Mhm.
in the right strength? Is it going to get to that right depth? So, they can prove everything that they do. So I trust them. We use them. We love them. And our patients do too. So I true heartedly only sell that company because I can truly believe in what they're representing.
Nice. All right, I gotta check that out. Walk me through the difference between someone who's aged well with a little work and someone you can spot from across the room.
So if you're talking about Botox and fillers, let's say that. Well, I'll say fillers. Let's go down that route. I say in like the 2000s, they kind of just plumped you full with filler, like they didn't understand natural. They just kind of got the filler and plumped it, bigger cheeks, like bigger this, bigger here, anywhere.
Yeah.
I would say like this area here projects, this
Mhm.
area here lifts. So if we want that natural result, we're doing the most minimal amount of filler in this front portion. We're doing everything here so that we can be lifting all the way up into the hairline. Because
Mm.
as we're pulling up in this direction, we're able to get things to be lifted versus projecting
I love
out.
that.
Mhm. So, and also we have this new machine. It's called Zerf. It's a really, really cool machine. So Zerf is going to be new to the country. It came from Korea. We've had radio frequency forever, so that's how we've always tried to do skin tightening in the United States. Well, I guess anywhere. So whether it be microneedling radio frequency, just topical radio frequency, but if they were trying to get deep into your tissues, down to like your ligaments and that, they found out that they were eating the fat. So
Ooh.
we don't want that because now you're going to be deplumped and saggy, and
Oh,
so that's no
hell.
good. So
Yeah.
now it's Surf. What it is doing is getting down to your ligaments, and it's actually repairing those. So as which is called your SMAS layer. So it's getting to your SMAS layer and it's repairing that whole layer. So the side effect of repairing that layer is tightening the skin. So we're creating healthier skin through all of your dermis, your skin, and also down into the ligaments, because before we were trying to tighten the skin, but ligaments were counteracting. Now we can lift everything up and it will start to lift and tighten and fix the skin itself. So the nice thing with that one, there's no downtime. You don't have literally an ounce of downtime. You walk out, you're a little bit pink, but then you just go back to normal life. Pain wise, we have a few things that some people can tolerate it. There's no problem at all. Myself, I had 3 little tiny hot spots. Some people, it's pretty tender all the way around. So we have a little tricks and traits of how to make that better. But it's something you do 1 or 2 treatments, well, 2 or 3 treatments, and then you just do like once or twice a year just to maintain. So it's not something you need treatment, 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 treatment.
This
It's
is
going to
like
be just do a little bit and then you're good for a while and then just maintain it.
how
So
much is that, if I may ask?
so if we're doing here to here, it's 1,800 at our office. So it's usually 2,200, but we've discounted it to 1,800
Very
right now.
nice. All right. So that's the frequency one that actually works
Hmm.
in the
Yeah. So it's nice to do those kind of things in conjunction with, again, we don't want to do just one versus the other. We want the filler to give us our instant gratification, shape and fill in shadows and hollows and creases. But then we want to start fixing the skin, because I call fillers and Botox like the Band-Aid. We're fixing things and looking nice and doing our instant gratification. But you're sitting in my chair. Why are you sitting in my chair? Because you want to fix your problems, and aging is only going to keep happening. So you need to do the things that are going to help prevent and help correct and do your skincare regimens, the things you can do at home, as well as that. So it's like we have that twofer we have to do: laser, skincare, all that stuff, and our instant gratification of Botox and fillers.
Okay. What is your like beauty routine? You have like a
Of
night
product
in?
wise,
Yes, product wise.
I don't. I have a lot. I'm a product junkie. I definitely. So I use. This is embarrassing. So I have every other day regimen. So on one day I do vitamin C plus C, or vitamin C's. Then I do a product called cell cycle. Yes, sorry.
Mhm.
So my skincare regimen, I actually have a whole lot. I have something that I do 2 days. Every other day I switch them out. So I start with cell cycle catalyst, and then I do vitamin C plus E,
Oh,
and then I do discoloration events.
oh, you do.
Then I do an eye antioxidant. Then I do then I do hyaluronic acid HA intensifier. Then I either I rotate out triple lipid, which is a lipid barrier fixing, or AGE interrupter, and then I do an eye cream and then sunscreen. So that's one day, and then the next day, this is why I can look my age at 40. Then the next day I do retexturizing activator, which is a cell turnover hydrator. I do AGE Ultra Serum, which is a skin tightening lifting. Then I do Metacell, which is a brightening and redness. I do triple lip or tripeptide neck repair, which is like a retinol for the neck. I do RGN, which is 7 signs of aging plus redness. And I do same thing, eye products and that stuff. I have a big regimen. And then at nighttime, I have another regimens, retinol, glycolic, resveratrol. Yeah, I have a big, but you can see what that investment does. You can see I'm in the sun every single day for hours and hours. So if you can learn what products will either reverse the damage and or prevent the damage, you can preserve your skin. You don't have to age. You just have to use the products that are going to counteract that. So sunscreen is the most important out of all of them. If you're going to choose one, sunscreen. And I know you say you can't use it. You just have to find the one you can use.
And I only use one lotion, so now I'm like, oh my gosh,
I
I'm doing
know.
it all wrong.
I know.
I don't
It's a
use
lot.
any products.
Vitamin C and sunscreen.
Okay, I'll do the vitamin C one.
Yeah. So for anybody else out there, again, the trio that I try to start people on, because if I tell somebody to use my skincare regimen, you're obviously going to be like,
enough time in the day.
yep,
for
nope,
that.
that's it, literally. And it takes me like 3 minutes in the morning. It's not like, yeah, I'm not sitting
there like,
no, it
what was
literally
this?
is so fast. It's just, but I've been doing it for 20 plus years. So it's like, it's just a routine. But the 3 products that are most important are going to be vitamin C, retinol, and sunscreen. Those are it. That's like, if you don't talk about true dermatology, that's going to be the preservative and the fixer and the preventer. Like it's going to be the 3 of those. And then everything else is added benefit. Do you want the plumping? Do you want the lifting? Do you want the tightening? Do you want the brown sprouts fixing? There's so many different things, but the trio of dermatology is going to be vitamin C, sunscreen, and retinol.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. So I know I was embarrassed to tell you what I used.
Wow.
I know. She's like, you need to tell your patients. And I'm like, I don't want to tell my patients what I'm using.
If I have to I'm going to create a reel and I'm going to add all those products. It's going to cover the whole screen.
But you know what? I don't do many lasers. I don't do anything like that.
You
Like
don't
it's
do
not,
lasers.
I mean, I do a couple I've done through the years. It's not like, but that's not my big thing. It's all been products to preserve. So I started when I was 18. So I could preserve everything, where a lot of the patients don't come in until they're 45 or 50. So now we're at that true aging and correcting. So now we have to try to bring them back and or just pause. So for me, I was able to pause at that. And like I said, my son at 12, I have him on that stuff so that he can preserve and pause at his age. Because it's beautiful skin at that age. Preserve it.
Very interesting. And that won't affect anything. That's
for him? Oh no, it's just, it's sunscreen. It depends on what your thoughts on, chemicals and stuff are.
Yeah.
No,
Well, they have some natural sunscreens these days. Yeah.
Well, I think the aesthetic industry is a part of a mental thing too. You kind of have to realize that some patients are doing it for not the right reasons. Their boyfriend said something they didn't like, but I don't think it's as doing it off of insecurities. I think it's helping somebody feel confident in their own skin. So, my lips are uneven when, not mine, but like my lips are uneven when I'm smiling. So let me help you fix that. It doesn't have to be like, oh yeah, they are. Look at that. Let me go out and give you a couple syringes here. Like we don't have to think of it more like that. It's really going to be like, I'm seeing aging and I don't really know what it is, but let me help you. So I'm going to tell you what the aging is because I want you to be educated. I want you to understand why you're doing things. And whether you're doing it with me or somebody else, this is your face. So please know why you're doing what you're doing. But that's huge at my practice. Every one of my patients are educated and make educated choices as to what they're getting. It's not just selling. If you're going to be in this field to sell, then you're in it for the wrong reason. I would rather, like I said, low and slow and fix because I'm not there just to make a quick buck. If you come to my office one time, I'm not doing you due justice. I need you to come in and create a regimen and a plan so that these insecurities that you have are going to be something we can continue to fix and change. And there's certain things that I could do immediately with a Botox and fillers. Some of it's going to be a long-term plan. You're going to have to do, 5 lasers, or you're going to, but also after that 5 lasers, aging and life and sun is still going to happen. So then we're going to do maintenance, and then we're going to be doing, like it's a long-term health plan. This isn't just think about going to your primary care one time and saying, fix me. You're
Yeah.
not going to do that. You need to think about me in that same way. This is medical. This is something that we're not going to just one and done and walk out.
Yeah.
We have to have something that's going further than that.
I agree.
Well, I think that's kind of a misconception. I don't think it's the fact that it's insecurities. I think that people just don't feel as confident when they have something that they feel is they see unevenness or crookedness, if they have acne scarring, if they're starting to see aging happening.
Mhm.
I think we all don't want to get older. We all don't want to look uneven. And that's my job to be able to look at them and say, I know that crooked smile. It's not that it's wrong, but let's just go ahead and enhance that so that you can smile big for the world. Those acne scars that you have, you don't have to keep them. I know you've accepted them in life, but we can go ahead and just soften them so that when somebody looks at you, you don't feel like they're constantly looking at that acne scar. As your age starts to show and you start to kind of get those heavy eyelids and the eyebrows and that stuff, okay, at some point you need surgery. That's okay.
Mm.
But we also have to do things in the temporary before we're getting to that age or that severity of it. So let's get a little Botox and get that lifted up so that we can pause this situation for a while. Our body is a work in progress. We're constantly having to do maintenance on it so that it's going to maintain what we have. And at some point, we might have to do a little bit of rehaul and put a little extra into it. But until that point, let's manage it, let's maintain it, and let's help it. I think it is healthy to help yourself mentally because when you're sitting there, when you're looking at the world and you don't feel confident in your own skin, let's go ahead and fix that. And it doesn't have to be surgery every time. It can be a simple little tweak with a filler. If your cheeks are uneven or your jawline, you have one big jowl on one side and not the other. There's so many things that these patients can come in and they can have treated just so simply. And it's a managing it. I think it needs to be internally as well as externally too. We're in the wellness area now. We're not just saying Botox and fillers. You want to make sure that you're internally treating yourself so we have the longevity of life and we're able to, do NAD shots that are going to mitochondria and anti-aging them. We have
Oh.
the B12 shots that are going to give you your energy to kind of maintain through the day. We have so many things that we can do. There is a balance that you have to have between overdoing things
Mhm.
and keeping them in that natural look. But that's my job to ensure that they're not going overboard and stopping them when they do, because it's very easy to go overboard. So, taking pictures of my patients, always referencing back to those pictures of when they first came in is my priority so that I'm never taking them too far from where we ever started.
Oh, wow, that's good. And how about the B12 you just mentioned? How do you know how much B12 I need? Or is there like some blood work before where you analyze what?
So B12 isn't something that you're going to overdose on.
Okay.
There are times where somebody could become too B12, have too high of levels, but that's so rare in the world. So, what we do is we kind of go on a good once a week for so many weeks, and then we just give you a little hiatus and say, okay, let's chill for a little bit, and then you can come back on. You kind of see a lot of people, as long as they're not hypothyroidism or have some other kind of conditions, then they can go ahead and keep going on it and off of it. And, they feel it on their own body. But we do have a wellness side of it. So we take the blood in the office and we do
Oh,
send it out
okay.
and we do a whole thorough, investigation of the internals of you just as well. So we have in-body scans so we can see what's going on in your,
Oh, I love
for
it.
your weight so that we can see your water weight and your muscle mass and your fat and your visceral fat. So, I mean, in our office, it's not just a one-stop like go and get this. It's going to be we do a full wellness check on you so that we can make sure that we're treating you holistically, not just as like your aesthetic.
What's the thing people ask for most that they absolutely do not need?
I would probably say lips. I mean, I think
Mhm.
that's kind of it. I think that can go south so quick. I think either it either looks like a duck or it starts to flood over into the white parts of your lips, or it gets too wide and you look Joker.
Or it's like
So,
crooked.
yep, yep. So there's a lot of things that you want to be careful of doing that. I think the second would probably be under eye, like tear trough filler.
Oh,
That one is something where people feel like they look tired. So it's like, I need a little more and I need a little more and I need a little more. And like I said, that's my job. I would rather someone come sit in my chair and I'm like, okay, you don't need anything and have them leave versus overfilling and overfilling. Once again, talking about my brand, you're my brand. You are going to be what my walking advertisement is. So if I just keep listening to the patient and filling because they're sitting here, then I'm not doing myself any service. I'm not doing the patient any service and the community. I mean, the questions are overdone, overlooked. Why do we look like this? Because injectors just do it. And so it's my job to make sure that I'm educating patients as to why we're not going to do it just as much as why we are going to do it.
hmm. I'm not in your chair, but what would you change? What should I do?
I mean, I think you are beautiful. You have a
Oh, thank
beautiful
you.
jawline. You don't have, any kind of sagging here. Your cheekbones, you're lifted up here. Yes, we're starting to get just kind of laxity because we're getting older.
I'm
So,
42.
I mean, again, if I could say one thing, skincare, vitamin C, sunscreen. But I think Zerf is really good to start at this age. I think that's something that, once we start waiting for the problems to happen, this is the hardest thing to start picking up. Once it falls,
Really?
to get that to lift back up, then
Girl.
we're trying to do fillers in the cheeks, and then we have to, it ultimately becomes lower facelift. So if we can start today when we're starting to see these little tiny changes and start structurally changing your skin, that's what's going to keep that from falling. I would say literally there's nothing else on your face that I would change. Mhm.
From the lips, maybe? A little bit?
Lips are always fun if you want. If you want to smooth them, we can smooth them. But you have a beautiful smile. It fits your
Oh,
face.
thank
You don't want your lips to walk in the door before you do.
I
So,
love that,
yes,
honestly.
I think again, just preventing is going to be the biggest thing for you right now because how we have to look at aging too is we have young 20s, early 30s are the environmental damage. The sun's really getting them, the smoke, the wind, the dirt, all that stuff. Once we start to get, mid 30s, 40s, mid 40s, 50s, we're having like aging, real aging that's starting. And then once we get above that, like active aging is actually happening. Now we don't have collagen and elastin, that thing's all slowing down. So how we treat for the different eras are tailored to what is your skin health,
Mm,
what is your skin age, what is your
lifestyle.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
yep, what are your products you're using, all of that plays a factor into how we customize your treatment plan because if you're in a toxic alcohol at the bar kind of lifestyle, I need to tailor that. We're going to be a little bit more aggressive with you. If you're somebody that puts on sunscreen and stays inside and puts on gloves when they're driving and makes sure that they are perfectly covered, I don't need to be as aggressive with them. We're just going to kind of maintain with them. So I think picking the lifestyle or understanding the patients, listening to them, creating a conversation, and truly learning who they are and what they are is going to help advise the best treatment plan for us.
Dang.
Hmm.
Wow, I love it. There's a med spa on every corner now. What separates a good injector from someone who's going to wreck your face? How do you even know? I mean, besides looking at the reviews, the Google reviews and whatnot.
I think the biggest compliment is word of mouth. I
Mhm.
think that is something that somebody looks at you and just says, "You don't ever age. What's wrong? Like, what's happening?" And then
Yeah.
you're just like, "Girl, I've done Botox 15 years. What are you talking about?" And they don't know. I think that's really the biggest compliment as to how it is. We just had a statistic the other day saying there's more med spas than there are McDonald's. So you're very right. And in my own complex that I'm in, I think there's 6 of us in the same complex. So it's true there are so many, it's so oversaturated, but the clientele that I have, I don't feel like any of those other 6 are my competition. I say it all the time. First of all, we should all be in this as a community together. Each of us should have similar training. Each of us should have that same direction because aesthetics is a community and we should all have that, which it's not, unfortunately. But it's going to be something that we want to, do your research on who you're going to. How long have they been injecting? Because, and that's hard stuff to find, to be honest, because you're going to look that I've been a nurse for X amount of years, but I could have been delivering babies for all of those years and I just came in last week. So, asking questions, looking at social media, asking friends, how
Mhm.
did they like their treatment, seeing who it is. For my own practice, again, it's the fact that patients trust. They've been with me for 20 plus years. They know me. It's not hard for me to get, new patients because the patients are able to represent for me.
Represent, yeah.
Hmm.
Which and the fact that you're very honest, you're not, like
Correct.
straight up to me, oh, don't worry about the lips.
Hmm. Hmm.
What's a trend right now that you think people are going to regret in 5 years?
Trend right now with regrets. The- um,
Yeah.
so the cheeks can go a little wild there. Yes. They can definitely get a little out of hand. And I blame patient's naiveness. I blame Instagram and that stuff. I blame injectors with lack of training or too much training because when we are trained, we're taught start here and lift everything up, which is very true. We all should do that. Um, but once you go too far, you look like a balloon almost. And that's where people say, the pillow face from fillers, that's the cheeks that are there. And I always say the 2000 injectors were just so big. They wanted everything
Mhm.
big in front face. The
Yeah.
2020 injectors, we're lifting, we're doing, but we're hiding the filler.
Mhm.
So I think cheeks are going to be something that they're not going to regret because filler goes away.
Mhm.
But I think they're gonna look back and be like, that looked a little strange, a little alien-like, or I call it maleficent. You get the maleficent cheeks and it becomes too much. So, and lips, I think, can go a little crazy. The young girls, they want more and bigger, which is fine. They're young. Let them make their mistakes as a child. Once again, I make sure that my patients are always still within the natural look. Um, but there's ratios that you need to stay with, 60/40 on your lips, stuff like that. And they're not trying to do that. They want the bigger upper lip. They want it more. They want projected. But as an injector, you have to say, okay, whoa, calm down. It's okay.
Especially, yeah, I see a lot of those girls in their 20s on Instagram and they have these big lips. And I'm looking like, girl, look at your last year's photos. Like
Mm-hmm.
your lips are, this is bigger, this side is bigger than this one. It's already migrating. Like you're gonna look crazy in your 40s. Like calm down with that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize it's like, this is actually gonna look bad.
And I think me as an injector, I'm very quick to dissolve if it doesn't look right. And I think a lot of injectors are afraid to dissolve. And whether it be them afraid of accepting that it looks wrong, whether it be their work or not, they're quick to point it out if it's someone else's work. But for their own work,
Yeah,
it's
true.
hard to say, like, it is starting to migrate a little bit. So let's just go ahead and dissolve it and start over. I don't mind that at all. I feel like I'm keeping you natural by saying that. Okay, it sucks for a couple days to go without some lips. Move on. You're
Oh,
fine.
but they won't be damaged. Like if you keep getting it, say you're getting it for 15 years
Hmm.
and now the lips are pretty jacked up. Can you just dissolve and then all those 15 years of all
Till it goes
that,
away.
it
Hmm.
just goes away and then you have normal lips
Hmm.
or no lips?
I mean, unless you went for like sausages in the very beginning. I mean, like, and if you look like this, then it's not going to bounce back. But if you have,
That's true.
if you're even if you're obnoxiously a little bit big, it's still going to go back to normal. Like
Okay.
it's going to go back. Yeah.
And it would look saggy or
No, it goes
it's
back to normal.
okay.
Hmm. But you don't need to dissolve all the filler. You're just going to dissolve where it's not
It went
looking
when it
good.
went out.
Hmm.
Wow.
Hmm.
And all that for
I would say a canvas. You can only paint on the canvas so many times. You just start with a new canvas sometimes. Just erase it all and start over, and that's okay. We can only compound so many times before saying it's okay to start over. Yeah.
that's amazing. How much of looking good is genetics and skincare versus what you can actually do in the chair?
Um, Depends on the patient and their ethnicity and their lifestyle and
We don't
all of
know.
that. That all makes a difference. You can see a family member who, twins, they do them online where you'll see this one was vegan and wore sunscreen and didn't go out. And this one was the surfer and the one who was in the sun and partied and did their thing and see side by side the whole difference. And they had the same genetics. So internally, if you're drinking alcohol every day and you're eating McDonald's, and you're doing all those things that are going to be toxic to your internals, it's going to show on your skin. You're not sleeping in your whatever, but if you take care of your skin, even skincare wise. I think that helps. Um, but changing somebody is what we're not going to do. So if we can fill that crease that they got because they were in the sun, then we're definitely helping out. But I think genetics is huge because it's going to be the structure of your face. Do you have a great jawline or do you have a big fat
Mhm.
neck? I can't change that. Like that's going to be you. And not trying to change it either because I'm not trying to change you. You need to look like your family. You need to look like who you came in
Yeah.
like. So I think there is a big balance of you can't find a picture on Instagram and say, I want to look like this because
Mhm.
that's not you. But I can get an idea of what your idea is,
Yeah.
and then we can go ahead and try to enhance to make it that closer.
Oh,
But setting the realistic expectations from day one so that when they get injected or when they get the laser or when they get the treatment, they know what their expectations are going to be is where my patients, I feel like they thrive because they know what to expect. They're not going to go home and be like, "Well, I thought I was going to get this and I walked out with this." And it's
mm,
it's not like that. You want to make sure
that's
you're
good.
setting those boundaries and the expectations so that they're not going to walk out thinking they're going to walk out looking like somebody else.
Oh, and that's awesome that you actually sit down with them and you're before they
That's more important than the injections themselves. Setting the plan, setting the
making sure
expectations.
they're yes, that's amazing. And what is your connection to the Greek fest?
So we came in, this is a community here. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I've seen the Greek Food Festival for so many years. Um, Once I started my own business, I had a wonderful person that was involved in the Greek Food Festival that asked if, we wanted to come and be a part of and promote ourselves. But it's really spreading my knowledge to the community and outreaching so that they can have the same knowledge and prevent and try to help those find little things that are in their brain that they want to tweak and change. But it's coming here and being a part of the community.
That's awesome. Would you have a booth at the festival?
I will have a booth, yeah. So if there's any questions, if you've had Botox fillers, lasers, anything like that in the past, and have a question, please come in and I'll be here to talk to you. It'll be myself here. It'll be my manager here. I think we even may have an employee, one of our estheticians. So we have the knowledge. If you want to come and just get any education, if you've never done anything and you have a question about it, I would love to just sit there and share the knowledge and educate people. And, if we'll have a booth, we'll be able to answer them all. We'll have,
That's amazing.
giveaways. We'll sell stuff. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah.
And it's your first festival? This
We
is
came last year, but we didn't have a booth. So this
okay,
is our
so the
first
first
year
one with
with
the
our.
booth. Oh, that's
Mhm.
gonna be amazing.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Is there any question you wish I had asked that I
No,
haven't?
I just think, I just want everybody out there to know that I will be there on Saturday and Sunday. My name is Melanie. I'm the owner of the business. I am the injector of the business. I've been in this industry for 26 years. I have lots of information. So please don't hesitate to come and say